Good evening, Marv Rabbi Sai. Tonight's Zera Shimshon Shiur is sponsored by Reb Menachem Kamen, the yahrzeit of his grandparents, Sarah Bas, Reb Menachem Mendel, whose yahrzeit is tonight, the 27th of Teves, and the Reb Moshe ben Chaim Belaz Olav Hashem, whose yahrzeit will be on Shabbos Kodesh, the 28th day. The learning should be an aliyah for their neshamas, to be a schus for the ganze Kamen Mishpocha, for all of us, for Klal Yisrael. Hagefen, Atzlacha, Gezind, Parnusa, Nachas. The Zera Shimshon, Chaim ben Menachem Echol should be yogain on all of us. Welcome to Torah Anytime, and welcome to all of the Choshev fellows that come and learn with us. Tonight we're going to do Parshas Vaera, page Tav Kuf Tes Zayin. Tav Kuf Tes Zayin is in the middle of a very, very long piece. That's Droshim al Haggadah Shel Pesach. So there are bite-sized pieces on the Haggadah. This is letter Gimel, which starts on Tav Kuf Yud, but as you can see, if you want to skim along for a second, so many different things. So we're going to start Tav Kuf Tes Zayin. Okay? 516. Tav Kuf Tes Zayin. It should look like this. Ubetam. Right over here. Ubetam arba l'shoyna shel geula. Let's see. Let's start from the beginning of the parsha. Let's start with the Chumash. Vayidaber Elokim el Moshe vayomer elav ani Hashem. After Moshe Rabbeinu had complained, to the Eibishter at the end of Parshas Shmos, Lama hareisa la'am hazeh v'lama zeh shalachtani. Why have you done bad? Why did you send me? Vayomer Hashem el Moshe ata tira she'esel leparei ki biyot chazaki yishalchem biyot chazaki yigarshem ha'artzoi. Now you're going to see. Ata tira. Now you're going to see what's going to happen. And the parsha begins, Vayidaber Elokim el Moshe vayomer elav ani Hashem. Interesting statement. Vayidaber Elokim vayomer elav ani Hashem. The Eibishter says, in the name of Elokim, I'm talking to you in this name, Elokim, and I want you to know Ani Hashem. And then Vaera, the Eibishter begins to tell a little bit of history. And this history is obviously an explanation of Vayidaber Elokim vayomer elav ani Hashem. We're going to unravel that pasuk with the help of the Zera Shimshon tonight. What is the mitzias? What does this mean? Vayidaber Elokim vayomer elav ani Hashem. Vaera el Avram Yitzchak v'Yaakov bekel Shaka Yushmi, and this name of Yud Kei Vav Kei Loi Noidati Lahem. I did not let them know. The Gama Kimoi says Brisitim, I'm going to make a bris. Lo says Eretz Kenan Eretz Mugurei Asher Goruba, the land that they live. V'gam Shemati is Nakas Bnei Yisrael. After all of this, L'chein Emor LeBnei Yisrael Ani Hashem. Therefore, after all that, I want you to say Ani Hashem, goes back to that first pasuk, and v'hoitzeisi v'itzalti v'ga'alti v'lokachti. V'hoitzeisi, I will take them out. Mitachas sivlois Mitzrayim. V'itzalti eschem avoidosam. V'ga'alti eschem b'zraya netuya. V'lokachti eschem li la'am. And as Chazal have taught us, the arba kaises correspond to these four lashonis. The Zera Shimshon is going to give us some insight into these lashonis on a few different levels. The two we're going to focus on over here, he says, Ubetam arba lashonis shel geula, milvad masha kasafti le'el beparsha shmois ois yud beis. We're going to get there as well too. We'll see two. He has more than two pshatim, but tonight, Be'ez Hashem, we'll see two of them. Okay, which is These four Lishonos of Geula represent not just what the Eibishter did for Klal Yisrael, Ba'ofen Klali in general, but they infused Bnei Yisrael with the midos necessary to be Geulim, meaning so that you should have the Kayach as individuals, as protistic dimension, kol echad ve'echad, v'oitzeisi v'itzalti v'ga'alti v'lakachti, is an ongoing geula. It's a constant thing that shaykh not just to the klal of Yisrael, but it's shaykh to the proteus of the individual. What we're going to learn tonight is about the fact that v'oitzeisi v'itzalti v'ga'alti v'lakachti wasn't just then, it's mitmashech, which means it's continuing. Gam b'tzura prati v'gam b'tzura klali. Those are going to be the two pshatim that we're going to see tonight. Fascinating Zera Shimshon. Lama upland in the sugya. Zog to Zera Shimshon. Ubetam, one more time. Ubetam Eila Arba Lashaina Shel Geula. Milvad Masha Kasafti Oid Yesh Loimer. Shem Keneged Arba Dvarim. Ikrim, you got it there in the English? Ikrim l'shleimas ha'adam la'avodas boiroi. L'shleimas ha'adam la'avodas boiroi. You want to know what number this is? It's number 3. Okay, but 3 is huge. How far close to the end of 3? Towards 80% in 3 over there. These are the 4 things necessary for shleimus ha'adam, for a person to be a complete person, for a person to be mashlim himself. You had good words in English last week. Maybe you come up with something good again. Shleimus ha'adam, to be lahashlim. If anybody's got a good word in English, I'll take it. What do you mean? So he explains. And I have to share something with you. Well, on the first piece, this is a classic. You know what Yotzeisi means? Yotzeisi tachas sivles mitzrayim. The sivles, when a person's besevel, sevel means when he's under pressure, hotnish kan seichel, and he doesn't have the balance to discern between right and wrong. Let's see. A person should know the essence of good and reward. Vaera v'ha'einish. Shemi, shehu b'tzar, v'hu torid u'meturaf. He has tirdus and he's mituraf, which means to say that he's unstable. Ein loy das. He doesn't have the das, the wherewithal. Lahakir maus atoivu maus ora. He can't know what's good and what's wrong. His proportions are all mixed up. Omnam kishiyotzim min atzar, when he's relieved from the tsar, and he has what's called, he has already a little bit menuchas hanefesh. Right, then he has a little bit, he's able to relax. So then he can have yashrus, maschil lahakir ubo lidei yediyah. Do you know when this is the most prevalent? You could be here in Shiners, and all you want to do is daven. And the meshulachim come and make you meshuga. And you ask yourself, what's wrong with this person? I see in this Zera Shimshon, you have to be danlam lekav schus. The tsar causes a person to lose all proportion of what's right and wrong. Every person who has tsar, one way or another, especially when it's financial pressure, loses the proportions of what's right and what's wrong. The Zera Shimshon says, when a hot is gepreshert, a hot nish kan das. Doesn't mean that they're schlechte people. Chazal say you have to be you have to understand Yenim, right? You have to be noise ba'oil chaverei. So when an annoying person, Chalila, comes over to you, right, and you say Genikshay, you have to stop yourself and say, 1 second, Baruch Hashem, maybe I'm not in such a matziv. I don't have that pressure. And I have to understand that Chalila, maybe if I did, I wouldn't be any better than that. The Zera Shimshon teaches us that when Klal Yisrael was with Tsar Zenen Zegevei Meshuge, they couldn't think straight. They couldn't think straight. Valahotnish Kandas, Tsar doesn't allow a person to have the right proportions of understanding Toiv and Ra. Good and bad. You lose your proportions. V'hoitzeisi mitachas sivlis mitzrayim. The erste zach I gave the Klal Yisrael, the avoid of a person that is okay, not my bissel seichel. So you should be able to understand and discern between good and bad. Under pressure and tsar, it's very hard, almost impossible to keep the proportions necessary. So you have to have Rachmanis if a mensch. And you see that Nebuch, it does something which is inappropriate. It's true it's inappropriate. But Zay Moichel, because the person's under a lot of pressure. Madafim Fashtei Noichel. You have to understand. Voitseisi, I took you out of the Tsar. This gave you das. Because then Ein Loi das. V'achar kach v'hitzalti. Eschem avodosom. What does vitzalti mean? So now that you have a little bit das, but what about the world around you? Dahainu havdolah sheyeh miruchakim umivdolim ma'avodas hamitzriyim. You should be separate. Vitzalti eschem me'avodosom. Now that you have a shtickle of das, you don't have the pressure that they've been loich halachatz shemitzrayim loichatzim. Now you can separate. And now you can have already a little bit of your own individuality. Like it says, Mishchu, next top of the page, Mishchu akhulechem, Mishchu ma'avodah zara. That's v'itzalti eschem avoidosam. K'moy shepirish Rashi. Like Rashi says, Kol hatzola shebemikra loshen hafrosha. Hatzola over here, not the hatzola that you have. Hatzola means lahafresh. Maybe it means to be mafresh memobes lachayim. Lahafresh. V'chein targum v'yatzel alekim v'afresh. So he went and separated. V'oitzeisi, I took you out of your tsar. V'hitzalti, I gave you an opportunity to be saved and to be lahafrish. V'go'alti eschem keneged zerizus mevilin nekiyas, like it says in the Mesilas Yesharim, based on the Bryce of Reb Pinchas ben Yair, that he wrote the Mesilas Yesharim. Tayyir mevila de zehiris, zehiris mevila de zerizus, zerizus mevila de nekiyas, nekiyas mevila de precious, etc. Until he comes to Ad sheyava kedusha tchias hamesim ubias aliyo. Nimtza shazrizus he has cholas hagaula. So v'hoitzeisi, v'itzalti, v'ga'alti. You know what I did for you, says the Zera Shimshon in his understanding of these psukim? I allowed you to become a mensch, from being an eved and a slave, get pressured, busy with avodah zarah, not being able to be in the realm of being able to be tachas kanfas hashchina. I did all of that. What does ga'alti mean? Hascholas ha'geula, zrizus. V'oid shagula shal mitzrayim ha'isa b'chipozim b'zrizus godo. V'zeu sheramaz lehem v'ga'alti eschem b'zrizus u'b'chipozim. Kidin hagoyel she'ein hagoyel lechatzoin elakol b'v'asachas u'b'rega achas. Like, you know, like the story with V'zei Heistershan Rubashkin. Right, from one day to the next, right, Yeshua's Hashem keherifying. The Atzola of Klal Yisrael was Bizrizus, right? The Gemara says that when a person does mitzvah ba liyadcha, al tachmitzenu, don't let it become chametz. The Zohar HaKadosh writes, the first of the mitzvahs that Klal Yisrael did was the mitzvah of matzah. Matzah. They left with the matzah. The way to make matzah is very quickly, don't let it become chametz. Because when you're eating this matzah, you're like a malach. You have to go out of your goof in a sense. You have to be not verschleppedik. You have to do a mitzvah bezrizus. The vav of mitzvah is the matzah that is the basis for all the mitzvahs. Mitzvah habali yodcha. You take what you started with, which is the mitzvah of matzah, and all your mitzvahs become an extension of the mitzvah of matzah. A mitzvah bali yodcha, you learned through matzah how to make matzah, which is through zrizas. It's lechem that's not mugbal by zman. Now that's your hatchala. That's the way you started. All the mitzvahs should be like that. That's the way you do every avodah. Mitzvah b'liyotcha. You can do this. We can gain daven, and you can go learn. You can go do a chesed. Al tachmitzanu. Everything you do. Aus angefangen this way. That's the vigoalti eschem. I took you into a madrega called geula. So each stage, Rabbi Isai, is another a way to internalize the necessity for every individual to be able to be nigal from Mitzrayim, and nigal, of course, from the Koiches Hara. V'itzeisi, I took you into a matz of no pressure. V'itzalti, I separated you from the Goyim. V'ga'alti, I fused you with a koyach of Zrizas. And then subsequently, v'acharkach v'lakachti eschem li'ezli la'am. Dahainu, now you're mine. Sheyasmidu b'maaseyim ha'tovim, k'moi shetamid hem nikrim amoy. Now keep it up. Don't lose the momentum. You're in a good place, right? Tmidim tamid shel shachar, like they say that word, that the Shulchan Aruch begins with the din of Tamid, Shvis Hashem Lenegdi Samid, and at the end, when we talk about, I think it is the din of, what's the last halacha? It's Purim, or it's kind of over there, it says, Toiv Mishta by Purim, Toiv Mishta Tamid, right? So somebody once gave a brach, I think it was the Chafetz Chaim, you should have Tamidim Kisidram, your Tamid of Shvis Hashem Lenegdi Samid, and the last Tamid, Toiv, right, Mishta Tamid, your two Tamids should be in order, and keep everything in the middle. The Lakachti Eschem Liyos La'am is the Tamid of now that you've gotten Vaitseisi Vitzalti Bega'alti, V'lakachti, my nation, keep it up. So, according to this, when we remember every day, right, a Mitzias Mitzrayim, we say in our davening, and we're remembering the Yitziyah, we're remembering the process of Milvad, what he wrote over there, which we'll see momentarily, there's an individual a koyach for every yachid v'yachid, and how he's nichnas me'avdus lecheirus, how he goes from tachas shlitas koyches hara of Mitzrayim to his own personal individual avodah. That's one Zera Shimshon. Let's go back to page Tuf Tzadik Beis, which is letter Yud Beis, and see that other pshat he said. Page Tuf Tzadik Beis, you'll find that in Shmois Yud Beis, Parshas Shmois Yud Beis, and it's going to look like this: V'lechein tiknu dalid koises, a second pshat in Vaitseisi Vitzalti V'ga'alti. V'lechein tiknu dalid koises b'leil Pesach keneged dalid l'shon shel geula. The concept of the dalid koises, and the concept we're going to learn over here is that ba'oifen kloli, when it says v'itzeisi v'tzalti v'galti v'lakachti, those four lashonos, normally you think it's referring to what happened then. The Zera Shimshon is going to be megala that since it says in Chazal that the future Golios, the four Golis of Bavel, Madai, Yavan, and Edom, where we are now, those four are an extension of Golis Mitzrayim. Because Golis Mitzrayim finished prematurely, instead of the 100 years that we're supposed to have. Instead, we only had 210 years. So the hashlomas hatikun that had to happen never happened. So what we are experiencing during the Golios are connected each one of those four of those the Golis Mitzrayim and Vaitseisi Vitzalti Vigaalti Vilakachti is an ongoing hashpah to take us out of the Golios, the subsequent Golis. Let's see it inside. Let's see it inside. Zok Azoi. L'chein amar lebnei Yisrael, af al pi shenishba Kadosh Baruch Hu legoylem ato, even though the Eibishter said, I will take you out now. Mikol mokem yachsu lishtabed arba pa'amim. You see where it is, gentlemen? Right page, Tov Tzadik Beis, in this type of Zera Shimshon. Second column, Divrei Maschal v'lochein. Umikulam, all four Golias Yigalenu HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Ve'elu daled HaKoisis, heim keneged HaPegam, she'osu daled doiris. There were 4 generations that ruined the neshamas of Adam Harishon. Ba'aleheim, Dor Enosh, Dor Mabul, Dor Hapaloga, and Sodom. We spoke about this in the past. If you've been to our Zera Shimshon Shiur, Zera Shimshon quotes the Ari HaKadosh, the Kash Idach Pashit. What did these little Jewish children do, Nebuch? They get shechted. It's not fair. It doesn't make sense. Moshe Rabbeinu frektach. The Torah says, don't start the way experiencing life with what you see in your eyes. Adam Arishon, when he sinned, lechatchila, he, at that point in time, gave himself over to the koiches hara, and he himself was asher yetzer leiv ha'adam ra min ha'urav. Those 10 generations by the Dor HaMabul could have been misaken the chet, but instead they made it worse. The next 10 generations, Dor HaPlaga, made it worse. Dor Enosh made it worse. And finally, Dor Sodom. If you remember, Avram Avinu was davening for them, because Avram Avinu had a shaykhs to them. Those neshamas were the neshamas of Klal Yisrael that stood at Har Sinai. Those neshamas of the Mabul were the neshamas that were supposed to get the Torah. That's why we spoke about last week. Moshe and Torah Minai and Bishagam Ubasa, he was shaykh to those doiras, but he was taken here. Those doiras, Heim keneged dalid golios v'dalid geulos shehoyolanu. Those are these 4 doiras. V'tiknu bezeh koisis mishum dechsiv kois Yeshuas eso v'shem Hashem ekra. Through these 4 koisis, b'shem Hashem ekra, I will be able to call the name of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Let's see what the Zera Shimshon. Fasten your belts. Okay, we'll learn a little of the Kabbalistic side of the Zera Shimshon. Sha'arba doiris pagmu bedalid oisius Hashem hamiyuchad kenoida. These 4 generations tainted and ruined the 4 letters of Yud Kei Vav Kei. V'Yisrael hoyo lehem letaken hakol begolas Mitzrayim. They should have fixed it all up. V'loitiknu sham b'shvil shaloi shilmu arba me'er shana. They did not stay the duration of the 400 years, and therefore they didn't fix it up. Omnam chazru letaken kol ois v'ois b'daled golis hacherim. Each galus is specifically for to fix up another letter. The Yud in Bavel, the Hey in Parasu Madai, the Vav in Yavan, and the final Hey with Edon. The Kroksiv Kais Yeshuas Esa. When after these 4 cases will be done, then Kais Yeshuas Esa ubeshem Hashem, the name of Hashem will become complete, and there'll be a full tikkun. The kishiyesh lanu hageula oz anu yukoylem likra b'shem Yud Kei Vav Kei. The kol hagoles metaken oisma Hashem. Everyone is misaken a name. That's why, when after 210 years, the Eibishter showed up to Moshe Rabbeinu at the Sneh, and Moshe Rabbeinu asked him, when they asked me, what's your name, what should I say? I can't say the name Yud Kei Vav Kei because we're not done yet. It's premature. Ich kann dir nicht sagen, jene Nomen, sagt וזהו הטעם שבגולס מצרים של מוישה מה שמוי, מה אומר להם? הויל שתקנו הפגם שיש בדלת אויסיס, בשביל שעדיין נשמע החשבון. You're not done yet. אם כן, לא יאמינו שיגולו. משמוכם מה שמוי. So you know what the Kodesh Baruch Hu said? Eka asher eka. That name, you know what eka means? Eka means I will be Yud Kei Vav Kei. I'm not there yet. It's coming out. It's going to be Nisgala. But it's going to have to be Nisgala after all of the finishing of the Goliaths. That's why Rashi says, I'll be with you in this Goliath and I'll be with you in other Goliaths. Ani hayisi imam b'shibud zeh, ani yisam, because that name will become revealed through all of this. What do we say? We don't say Yud Kei Vav Kei. We say Aleph Daled Nun Yud. When the next world, and even as he's about to say, in this world, when it'll be mitukan, then there'll be a revelation of the Eibishter, and then the name has not yet been fixed up. But Oz, kishetiknu kol hapegam, she'osu dalet hadoros rishonim, when that gets fixed up, then the name will come back and everything will be revealed and clear. I want to be masber a little bit better, and I want to share with you a little bit of the Shlo HaKodesh in the beginning of this week's Parsha, which will bring a little bit of clarity, Mizol Fashtein, the Sugya Lefi Erkeinu. Let me read for you for a minute or two, for a couple of minutes, the Shlo HaKodesh. Vayidaber Elokim, the pasuk we started off with. Vayidaber Elokim. What are we learning from this? First of all, before we see the Shlo, let's summarize for a minute. What are we learning? The Eibishter has a plan. The plan is that through Klal Yisrael, the name of Hashem Yisborach and the kvoid of the Eibishter will be mesuken in this world. You and I, Klal Yisrael, have a koyach that together we can be metaken, not just ourselves, but Kaviyachol the Eibishter. If you think about it, I want to share with you just a davar pashut. These 10 makkos, who did these makkos? Who did these makkos? No test. Did anybody know? Who did the first 3? Aaron HaKohen, right? Who did the next ones? Moshe. Medrash says 3 by Aaron, 3 by Moshe, 3 by the Eibishter, and 1 makkas shchin by all 3 together. It's not our inyan right now, but I want to just share with you one idea. Did you hear what the Medrash said? Do you hear what the Torah said? Do you know who's revealing the name of the Eibishter and the essence of Hashem? Sometimes it's the Eibishter, sometimes it's Aaron HaKohen, sometimes it's Moshe Rabbeinu. Look at the partnership that the Eibishter is giving his people. B'vakasha, he says, you do it. You be megalit. When you make a kiddush Hashem, you're being megalit, the Shem Hashem. You're my shutfim in this. You're doing this. That's how Yetzias Mitzrayim happens. Every Yid is empowered to make a kiddush Hashem and bring out the name of the Eibishter. Yeah, every person, they see you. You know, I'll share a little. We have a lady that takes care of my mother. When she first came, she was rough. After the last year, my Rebbitzin goes to visit. She's by Yid and this. She softened up so much. It's gewan an anderer Mensch. She just got exposed to so much, and she takes care of my mother. Amazing. But you see the whole hisnaga, so it changed completely. Mamish changed. Like that's a Yid's job in this world. And when you do that, you're bringing out kvoid shamayim. Says that's what's happening here. Alti Klal Yisrael didn't have a chance to do it during those 400 years. They had to do it however it had to happen, but it didn't. So it has to go through till Mashiach will come, and we have to be partners in this revelation. Now listen to what the Shlach Kodesh says. Vayidaber lekim Moshe v'Emel v'ani Hashem. V'shmi Hashem lo nadati lehem. Says the Zera Shimshon Azoi. Ki, kol ha'oises v'amoifsim. Everything that the Rebbeinu Shalom was about to do in Mitzrayim, all of these signs would be b'shidud ha'ma'arachos, b'shinui teva. He would be changing the teva in Mitzrayim. Nothing would become normal. Everything would become mishuga. V'hoya, and this would happen, b'shmoi hagadol. This change would happen through Eibishter's using what's known as shmoi hagadol, yud kei vav kei. Shmoi hamiyuchad, which is yud kei vav kei. Shehu, what does that represent? Hoya, hoive, v'yiyeh. The name yud kei vav kei is the three, was, is, and will be in one word. Was, is, and will be. Hoya, hoive, v'yiyeh is the shem yud kei vav kei. V'hu hiva, he created kol hanimtsoyim me'efes ma'ayin mochlat, from nothing to something. V'chidsham ish al tivoy, everything according to kimin hoge shel oilam, made heavens and earth. There's a yom v'eshkol asher bam. Ubrias kol hanimtsoyim, everything that you found and that he made b'shem Elokim. Like it says in Bereshis bara Elokim, Vayomer Elokim, which the word Elokim is ne'etzal, was carved out from the name Yud Kei Vav Kei. That name Elokim was Ki'ilu HaKadosh Baruch Hu manifesting himself as a Vaera in the world. And the name, says the Zohar, Elokim, which is Gematria 86, equals Ha-Teva. The Teva, Mother Nature, Kaviyachol, that you see, is Ha-Teva 86, which is the Eibishter acting through Teva. Ki kein oilam mispar, they're equal. Ki pirush shem Elokim, that's the yashrus and the midah of what every single thing needs to be created. The Eibishter, who is the source of all creation, but when it came down to making, you should be this tall, the heaven should be here, this should be here, that should be there. All of that, the Eibishter is being poyel b'shem Elokim. That name is Bidiyuk. That's why the name Elokim is Ad Elokim. It's the name of judgment. It's the name found for putting up boundaries. This person's right, this person's wrong. That name Elokim, the Eibishter used for creation. V'chol nivra v'nivra lefi min hagoy. Avo Godol Hashem mikol Elokim. The Eibishter is bigger than all the Elokims because they come from that name Yud Kei Vav Kei. Because that koyach, when the Eibishter wants to, is not bound by any teva, because then, and that's what happened in Mitzrayim. Vayidaber Elokim El Moshe Vayomer Elov. It's time to reveal the mask. We got too many shenanigans with these Egyptians that think that they know everything. So once and for all, I'm going to be Megala Ani Elokim, meaning Ani Hashem, that is poyel through the name Elokim. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to change and I'm going to create what looks like that's why it says in the Maharal that, and bring down in Midrashim, that the 10 Makos are connected, the 10 Ma'amorim shebehem nivra ha'olam, the 10 utterance of creation. You don't know who created the world, Parai? You're saying, me Hashem, who is this Eibishter? I'm going to show you. You know what? Every Vayomer Elokim is Yud Kei Vav Kei is going to turn that Vayomer into a Makkah. The Vayomer Elokim that said Yehi Or is now going to say Yehi Choshech. The Vayomer Elokim that said Bereshis is going to uproot the Bechor and the Rashis of every Egyptian. Oh, yeah, you're going to see who created the world. You're going to see. Vayomer Elokim, Vayomer Vanoichi Hashem, I'm going to reveal this. Would this have been mitukan completely? We wouldn't have had to go to another golus. Oh, it would have been good. It didn't end up happening there, but it's happening now. And it continues happening until ad biaskoyot tzedek, when bayoim hahu yiyeh Hashem echad, Ushmoy Echad, that name, Yud Kei Vav Kei, will no longer be separated from the name Elokim. That's when we say the two together. We say Hashem Elokim because we recognize that name Elokim. That's what it says in this week. That's the definition, the pshat of this week's parsha. And the person who brings that out, the people around, is us. That's our job. So, to conclude, Zog the Zera Shimshon, two shtiklach we learned about Voitzeisi, Vitzalti, Viga'alti, Vilakachti, Ba'oifen Prati, Uba'oifen Kloli. Ba'oifen Prati we learned in the shtikla about how Voitzeisi, Vitzalti, Viga'alti, Vilakachti infuses a person what his personal avodah is, so he should have the shleimus that he needs. That's one chelik of the attitude of how a person has to be as an Eved Hashem. In addition, how in the big picture, this is an ongoing v'hoitzeisi v'tzalti v'ga'alti. It started there, but it never finished. It continues until we'll have the bias goyot tzedek b'mhei Rabbi Amen.